Johnson and trouble in the backfield. Down he goes. Big 69.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. 6th episode, Icing Kicker podcast. Jaden here with me, but today we got a very special guest. The biggest inspiration behind Icing Kicker podcast, Scott Bischoff.
Oh no.
Scott, I hope I can call you Scott.
Yeah.
He's on the Detroit Lions podcast, as well as he's been featured on Woodward Sports. So this guy definitely knows what he's talking about.
Thanks, man. It's good to join you clowns. It'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm very lucky to have you on. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you and what you do and how you're able to do that.
So it's just media scouting. So it's not team related scouting stuff. That's I think that's a younger person's job. There's a lot of travel involved in that kind of stuff. So it's just media scouting. It's a fun gig. The story how I got there is long. It's too long to be telling here because I take up the entire podcast telling you the story how I got there. But that's essentially what I do. So just talking about football, more about the draft than really anything else. But some seasonal stuff centered around the Lions these days. But that's about it.
Nice. How long have you been doing the Detroit Lions podcast for?
I've done stuff for them for a couple of years, but the Lions stuff, the more focused weekly Lions stuff has been just this year. Nice. And then we're going to do some draft stuff that'll be really good.
Well, yeah. Well, Jaden, I know you think, we both think very highly of you, and we're very lucky to have you on, and let's get this thing started.
Thanks, man. It's nice of you to say. I appreciate it.
I know you're an NFL guy, but we'll get started. Tonight's college football national championship. Michigan opens up at -4.5 over Washington. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
Yeah. Penix scares me as a Michigan fan. He scares me. His ability to layer the ball down the field. It's something that they really haven't seen. Normally you do against a team like, no offense, Ohio State, but they didn't really see that this year. And I know you're a big Buckeye guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I worry, I guess for a couple of ways. I worry that the Lions won't be able to Michigan won't be able to pressure Penix and get him off sort of just hanging there and just allowing receivers to open up because they have really good receivers. So I think one of the keys is for Michigan to stay attached in the game or close enough in the game, like even just survive the first quarter, and then kind of control the pace of the game through their running game. But one of the things I worry about is if they can't get pressure on Penix and he's able to just stand back there in the pocket and throw darts all over the field. So the big thing for me is watching it is wanting to see Michigan's defenders get him to reset his feet and force him to get out of the timing that he wants to be in. And even if they don't get pressure so much, but just force him to reset his platform to make throws. And I think that'll be an important thing for Michigan's defense, as simple as it sounds.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, that's just an explosive offense. Like, that's a big play downfield. Especially Rome Odunze. He's a great receiver, probably the second best receiver in college football this year. And, that's a really valuable player to their team. And I do think if you can kind of, like what you say, make Michael Penix, maybe throw to a second or third read so he's not as comfortable back there, it'll be big. But, yeah, what do you think, Jaden?
I think that it'll definitely be tough. He's going to have a lot of passing yards, but I feel like, they have to rely on him, and they're not going to run the ball that much. So that's just one aspect that they just need to don't really need to worry about. So everything has to go into the pass. So I think that sending pressure and, like you said, like getting him off his rhythm and maybe sacking him a couple of times like we did against Milroe, will throw him off. And I think that that'll disrupt him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more about making him a little more uncomfortable than he wants to be.
Yeah.
Both mentally and physically. If you can hit him, that's great. but
Yeah.
just get him out of rhythm.
I think the edge obviously goes to Michigan defensively, but
Mhm.
I think Washington will score, but Michigan will be able to score as well. That's why I got Michigan in this game. I just don't see that Washington defense being able to stop that run. But at
Agreed.
the same time, that's a powerful, high-powered offense that Washington's got, and it will be a good game, I think.
I think so too. It's just you think about like what happens if Michigan comes out and they have done this in big moments. They come out a little bit out of sorts, on their own, and they can't hang with Washington defensively. And all of a sudden it's 14-0 kind of Washington, and it's like,
They're playing from behind.
yeah, and
That's
Michigan's
not what
not
they want to be.
really. So there's a little bit of the script at how Michigan wants this game to go, and falling behind early is not part of that. So it's
Yeah.
it's going to be super interesting to see what Michigan does defensively. I agree. I mean, offensively they should be able to run the ball pretty efficiently. I think Corum looked really good last week, so we'll
Very.
see.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
I hope they use Donovan Edwards a little more too. A little
pass
change
game
of
especially.
pace
Yeah.
back. I think that he's really valuable, and they haven't really used him that much. I mean, they used him a lot last year. I know Corum was hurt, but I mean, even when Corum was healthy, they would use him a lot. And it was kind of like split carries, but now it's like more just Corum's game, which I mean, I guess he does deserve the RB1, but I definitely think it should be like a committee, kind of like the Lions, like right now.
Well, he did. Or sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're good. Nope, I was finished.
He just broke the Michigan like all-time touchdowns record last game.
Yeah.
But yeah, something else I'll add to this game is the last 4 national championships the favorites have covered. So Michigan's -4.5. I do think that continues, and I think Michigan wins by 7 points, 7 to 10.
That would be great. I think we would accept that.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of like 42-21s. Like I've heard a lot of like
I think this is a 40-30s game or a 30s game.
No, I agree. I think it's gonna be a close game. Two high-powered offenses, but I think that
like even last year Michigan wasn't like a top offense, but they still put up 45 on TCU.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is not the same JJ McCarthy that's going to throw 2 pick sixes either, I don't think. So
I hope not.
I think they'll be good. You got any picks?
I mean, the Edwards thing is interesting too, because you could feature him as a pass catcher. Then they really haven't done that. Last year they did, and he's good enough that he could go. He can go into the NFL right now and run and be a slot receiver. He's that good in that facet. Yeah. Maybe maybe it's something that they have not shown. I wonder what injuries have been like for him this year, because he has not looked super fast and explosive this year like he did last year.
I agree.
Yeah, so I don't know. Interesting. It's gonna be a good game. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
You got any picks for tonight, Jaden?
Yeah. So the last 4 of mine covered. So I'm pretty hot right now. So I am picking Blake Corum anytime touchdown. I think that's a given.
That's just a stocking stuffer. You just
that's just adding more money on.
Yeah.
That's just an extra.
Now you're just nickel and diamond here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did see Michael Penix over 1.5 rushing yards, and that kind of intrigued me because I feel like we're gonna send blitzes a lot, and if he escapes one, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of open green grass.
But in college, when you get sacked, that takes away from your rushing yards. So.
Oh, does it really?
Oh, yeah. So that's why I would tell that, honestly.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I might change that then.
But he's still mobile. He can still pick up a first down.
Yeah, for sure.
Feet. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad one.
And then I got Blake Corum over 113.5 all-purpose yards. I think his rushing's at like 105. And I mean, he's a viable pass catcher too, as you saw the touchdown
last week. Yeah.
Yeah, the
2
touchdown
big plays.
at the end.
So one to kind of steal that or get that score in that last game-winning or not game-winning drive, but the drive to put it in overtime, and also on the first touchdown, leaking him out of the backfield. It's a matchup. It's a matchup problem. So I definitely see them trying that again.
Yeah, I agree.
But let's get into the playoff picture. Very exciting weekend. This I watched the games and very exciting. A lot of implications, and we finally got the matchups that we want. So, I'll just say it. I'll say the game and the spread, and you guys tell me your opinion. So, Saturday we got the Browns over the Texans, or we got the Browns and the Texans. Browns are minus 142 favorite.
So what do we think about the Browns in this game?
I like them.
I do too.
I like him too.
This is a rematch from earlier in the season, but when the Texans played the Browns, it did not have C.J. Stroud.
That's true.
So this will be
They
a
also
totally
didn't have Joe
different team.
Flacco, I don't think. Did they?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might have been rolling with P.J. Walker.
Yeah, so it's going to be a completely different game. I think that Browns defense is so good, and they don't have the Tank Dell anymore. They don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Nico Collins,
But
and
I was gonna say Nico Collins has also really stepped up too.
that's true. But I mean, against these
Yeah.
corners, I don't know. I think that this Texans miracle run is going to come to an end, and I think that the Browns are gonna, with that defense, is going to come out victorious.
You think they cover 3 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think so.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's the Stroud stuff's been magical.
Yeah.
But the defensive line and just the way that Cleveland plays, that's tough. It's a tough ask for Houston, but they're at home and things happen. I mean, it is Joe Flacco. He's old. I mean, he's not as old as I am, but he's pretty old.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought,
It's crazy. Yeah, no, I mean that'll be an interesting game just to see what kind of pressures that Cleveland's able to dial up and what they're able to do. But
yeah, I agree with you. The difference is going to be in that D line.
Yeah,
that D line group with Myles Garrett. All their big dogs up front. That's definitely the strongest of the team. So yeah, we all got Browns -3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Saturday night Chiefs, home against the Dolphins -184, 3.5 point favorites.
I'm gonna go Dolphins again, or the favorite, Dolphins. I think
the Chiefs.
Right? Oh no, Chiefs are favored. Sorry. I'm gonna go Dolphins. I think that I mean it is an Arrowhead. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Chiefs defense is pretty good. But I think that if Jalen Waddle and Mostert, because he's hurt. I think if they both are healthy, I think that defense will kind of crumble on himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Mahomes got Kelsey, and that's pretty much it for his offense. But it is Mahomes, so I mean, it's always going to be a close game, and you can never count out the Chiefs. So
yeah,
I definitely think it's going to be a good game. But I think the Dolphins are going to win, even though they've been kind of on a little bit of like a losing streak.
Coming off an ass kicking from the Ravens, but still, I still think that's one of that offense can put up 30 points, and
yeah, for sure,
put up 30 points during any game.
And they played earlier, right? They played in London,
in
Germany.
Germany. Germany. They played in Germany. I'm pretty sure.
Did the Dolphins win?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. See, I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this one because I think that it just seems to me like the Chiefs have a history. Andy Reid has a history of being able to figure out, given some time, how to beat a defense with their offense, and then losing some of the players the Dolphins have lost, like Bradley Chubb, and some of the injuries have just been, that's a huge injury because he had so many pressures. Yeah. I just think that the Chiefs at home is a kind of a different thing. And the Tyreek Hill factor is interesting. He gets to go back to Kansas City where it all kind of started. But I would take the Chiefs there and kind of feel not comfortable, but pretty comfortable doing that just because, it's Chiefs.
I like that too. And I'm like one of those guys too. I never bet against Patrick Mahomes. And I do think that, a lot of people start off the season saying like, oh, the Chiefs are falling off. The Chiefs are, they're done. And similar with the Bills and Josh Allen, but you look at the records, they're still 11-6, and they got a couple bad losses early in the season, but this is still a Super Bowl contender. And if you have Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, you can always win. So
yeah, for sure.
I got Chiefs covering too, and this will be a close game, but Chiefs put it away in the fourth quarter, and just because that's what they're used to. Um, this next matchup a little lopsided. This is our first Sunday game. The Bills are minus 500 over the Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that one's gonna be rough. I definitely have the Bills. Um,
The spread
I
is
mean,
10
Josh
points.
Allen's clicking.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll. They're definitely gonna cover.
yeah, and they've
Um,
definitely cleaned up some turnover issues, but
yeah. Well,
from early in the season. But still,
Josh
Josh
Allen
Allen,
did
yeah,
throw some bad picks last night.
yeah,
Or
I think they'll
yeah,
win, but I do have the Steelers covering 10 points because it reminds me of last year. Skylar Thompson starting quarterback last year when Tua was out. The spread came in at 13.5, which was the biggest ever in like opening weekend or opening playoff weekend, and they ended up only losing by 3, and they easily could have won that game. So I don't see the Bills coming out hot, and Steelers are going to shock them early, but Steelers offense won't be able to hang with the Bills, and I think they do cover 10 points, but the Bills win. The Bills win.
Yeah, I think the Bills will win too. And it's with Josh Allen, it's you live with the turnovers because he makes other things. He makes magic happen in other ways. So you just expect it. Like, all right, you know, we're gonna throw a pick a game. There's gonna be some throws that you want back, but he makes so many other plays, both with his feet and throwing, that you
Mhm.
just live with it.
Yeah.
I don't see how Pittsburgh stays in this game, big picture.
Yeah.
But I'm
And
not like a Mason
yeah.
Rudolph guy. So it's like, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Crazier things
yeah,
have happened though.
and
Yeah.
TJ Watt's out. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah.
it's
It's
gonna.
just tore
I
his
think it'll
knee up
get away from him pretty
or sprained his
quickly.
knee.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll won't be a very good game. But the next one, this one's not really as tight either. It's Cowboys minus 340 over the Packers. Um, Packers are a solid team, but Cowboys have looked strong every week this year, except maybe the 49ers week early on. But Cowboys are definitely a top team in the NFC, and I think they'll show that.
I think this will actually be a close game. I think it'll be a good game too. I definitely don't think the Packers are great by any means, but you know, uh it's when you start heating up, and the Packers have been just heating up recently.
Yeah,
And I mean, they're clicking on every cylinder right now.
yeah.
So I think
Even
that if they
you
can
know,
take that into the playoffs against the Cowboys, and hopefully they can show a little something. I do have the Cowboys winning, but I think that it'll be a possession game, touchdown, or maybe 10
yeah.
point game.
And the Packers have showed the ability to stay in the game with,
Yeah,
or not just stay in, but beat comfortably teams that are really good, like the Lions on Thanksgiving.
yeah.
I think about, and if they
The
um
Chiefs,
yeah,
I'm pretty
I
sure.
know if they start hot, and they keep rolling, that's a good offense, and I trust that coach to be able to get them in a position to win. And I do think the Cowboys win, but it's definitely not out of the picture for the
No,
Packers.
it's really not. And that'll be a super fascinating thing to look at with what does Green Bay do early in that game, and can they put like if they can put a little bit of pressure on Dallas's offense. Dallas is historically kind of, I don't want to say folded, but when there's pressure, they don't perform as well. So if
Hmm.
Green Bay comes out and scores and gets up, I could see Dallas having a tougher time than, I know they're a really good team and they played really well this year, but I don't think this is an easy matchup for them. Um, Green Bay is going to go in there and give them everything that they've got. It's just, how does Dallas survive, and can they play the game they want to play? And if they can, they'll be fine. But I could see Green Bay making it very uncomfortable for them.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
Um,
think Dak will throw a couple interceptions, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
but yeah, you talk about the Browns defense line earlier. That's also a really good,
Yeah,
pass rush group that the Cowboys have, and that will be a difference maker, I think. And if you put Jordan Love under pressure early, he throws a pick, and
yeah.
this could definitely be a routing for the Cowboys, or it could be close. So, I stay away from the spread on this one. I don't know, but this
yeah,
next
I
one, this
agree.
is a game we've all been waiting for. 8:15 Sunday night. Lions minus 174 favorites over the Rams.
You know, wasn't I think that they are the best wild card team in like the league. I think that they're better than the Eagles, and I think that they're even better than some uh like a lot of other
Division winners, yeah.
division leaders. So it's definitely gonna be a tough game. Matthew Stafford coming back, Jared Goff playing against them. I have a bad feeling about this game. I think it's gonna be really, really close. But of course, I'm gonna say I think that the Detroit Lions are gonna win. That defense, the D line is with Aaron Donald, and their pass rush group is pretty good. But our offensive line is outstanding. And even though Laporta might not play, he hasn't been ruled out yet. But he probably isn't going to play. I think that just having Amon-Ra, and I think that Gibbs will play a little more slot this game and run with Montgomery a little more. I think we'll be just fine. I just think that our corners got to show out. I think Stafford's got to throw at least one interception to CJ Gardner-Johnson, and having him back is going to be big, and having Aleem McNeil back in the middle is going to be big. So they're not going to be able to run the ball that effectively, which the Lions have been good at stopping the run recently too. So hopefully we just stop them on defense.
And I'll say this too: you got to start early with Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
start running the ball early, and if you get the ball first possession and you can go 50 yards or 75 yards and punch in David Montgomery touchdown, it'd be looking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's when the Lions are looking good this year, is when they start early and they start fast. But yeah, I think this will be a really tight game. This game will be like, you remember like the Lions Chargers game a couple.
I agree.
A couple months ago. I think my score prediction is like 31-28.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one. What do you think?
Just the idea of having to match up and defend Cooper Kupp and Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua and Stafford and all that stuff is just like, they've had such a good year. They are prone, Lions are prone to give up big plays on defense, and they're going to give up, points. Stafford's going to make throws, all that stuff. But the Lions offense is really good too. So, Jaden, you mentioned that the offensive line it's a very big deal. The Lions are going to have to do their best to keep Jared Goff comfortable.
Yeah.
And, a lot of that is allowing him to get rid of the ball quick, where Stafford will hold on to it a little longer and kind of threaten deeper down the field. But, this is a tough matchup. This is not the game that I was really hoping for their first matchup in the playoffs. Just this one. But, I don't think playing Green Bay at home was going to be an easy test either. I mean, you saw what they did on Thanksgiving Day, and it's just so, it's a playoffs. They've had a really good year. It's a tough test, but I think the Lions are if they play a good game, they could win this game, but they have to execute offensively, defensively, and Stafford's he can get rattled himself. Can the Lions get home with Hutchinson and McNeil, and maybe we see James Houston return a little bit? This one is going to be a really tight game, but super. It's going to be interesting to see how both teams handle this. And as much as people want to talk about like, oh, it's Stafford coming home, well, I think this is maybe more. Goff is the Lions quarterback, and whatever we think about him, he was kind of cast away from the Rams in a very different manner than Stafford left Detroit. And, this would be a really good opportunity for him to make a statement about his abilities. So we'll see. It's just it's not the matchup that you wanted, I guess, in the first week, but it's what you got. So Sunday night it'll be great, and then everybody gets to. You guys don't have school on Monday, do you?
No.
Well, you get to stay up and watch the whole thing. Cool. Good.
Party at Jaden's house.
Yeah.
But when was the last time the Lions hosted a playoff game? I know we weren't alive. Were you alive?
1992.
Was I alive? Yeah, I was like, I was older than you guys, but I was 23. I think that.
Well, I don't know.
I was even there.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, this will be definitely monumental for the city of Detroit, and you see how the city's really rallied around the team this year, and this will be a big test, and
Yeah.
It's gonna be loud in Ford Field too, so that'll definitely play a factor.
yeah. What were they? 12 wins this season?
12-5, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
So I think that's tied with a record, and this is the best Lions team we've probably ever seen.
Yeah, and it's the most, I think it's the most hopeful I think I can remember a Lions team being. I mean, I think they were maybe better in some places in the past, like overall.
Mhm.
And the Barry Sanders era was ridiculous because of how good he was, and the Calvin era was, he was amazing too. But you've got like you got Gibbs and Branch and Jack Campbell and Laporta and all these guys, these rookies playing such huge roles, and they're only going to get better.
Yeah.
And if you look at Brad Holmes's 3 drafts, it's amazing what they've done. Not even counting free agents, just in the draft and getting young players to perform for them. So I mean, the arrow is definitely pointing in a great direction for them. It's just I think this is all happening sooner than we all thought that it might, as far as them having a window to win.
Yeah.
So it's a little, there's a demon there for them to exercise with Stafford, and it'd be a great way to start your playoff run, beating him and beating the Rams.
Yeah. This next one, this is one when I was thinking about it, it really did kind of throw me off. Eagles minus 150 over the Bucks. Eagles are really off of the last 6 or 7 weeks, but and also Baker Mayfield's been balling recently.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the Bucks have the whole package to beat the Eagles, but it's definitely not crazy.
No, I think I'm taking the upset. I'm going Buccaneers. I think I mean, the Eagles are not doing well right now. I know Sidney Brown, their safety, just tore his ACL. And AJ Brown, he's hurt too. I'm not sure what he has, but I don't know if he's going to play in this game, which, I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the league. So,
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, I mean, his finger was backwards.
That was ugly.
Yes. Yeah, it was bad. So, I mean,
what did
they said nothing was wrong with it, but
yeah, they were losing 24-0 at halftime to the Giants.
yeah, it was bad.
Madness.
That looks like a team that has just mailed it in.
The team morale is just they know they're not gonna win,
and their effort.
Yeah,
they're not. They don't play hard. They look lazy. They look like they're just disinterested.
Yeah. I mean, in the last 2 weeks they just lost to the Cardinals and the Giants, and and you're looking at them as what the number 1 wild card in the NFC.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you. I do think the Rams are better than the Eagles. I have the Bucks winning this game.
Yeah, me too.
Could easily see that happening, and there's no reason to think that Philly. There's nothing that they've done in the last month that would make you think that they're gonna win.
Yeah, well, it's also it's also in Tampa too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, interesting. No, that's a playoff picture for Week 1. Yeah, let's go on the next one. Only got 10 minutes left, but we'll go quick on these questions here. I know you're a draft guy. What do you think the Bears are going to do with that number 1 pick?
It's going to be the question of the entire draft, and we're going to talk about it for months. But I mean, I could see both sides of it, and I think you'd get a lot for Caleb Williams, or for the first pick. I just don't see how they look at what Justin Fields has done in his time there and think that I'm not sure that they pass up Caleb Williams, I guess. So in the end, I think they'll stay put and take Caleb Williams and move away from Justin Fields. It's tough because he's such an exciting player. And the problem is there's a known, you kind of know what he is as a player. You don't know what Caleb Williams is going to bring. He had a rough year. Caleb Williams did. He doesn't want to stay inside the structure of an offense all that much. So he wants to be Superman at times. I don't know how much USC helped him this year though. So there's some of that. So the nice thing is that the Bears are going to know everything they need to know about Caleb Williams, and they know what's going on with Fields. It's just, if you keep Fields and you auction off that pick, you can really load up. But in the end, if your quarterback isn't good enough to win games for you and get you over the top, it really doesn't matter what you put around him. So,
Yeah.
I mean, where I am right now, I guess is I would expect them to take Fields, but I could definitely see how Williams, but I could definitely see them, going the other way too. I don't have a good answer for it. I don't know what they're going to do, but
I don't know what they're going to do there, but what I would do is I'd probably just trade back and try and get more assets, and stick with Justin Fields. The city of Chicago loves him, chanting his name after the game, and I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I'd draft down to probably the 6, 7, 8 range, and one of those teams needs a quarterback, and I'd probably draft like Joe Alt from Notre Dame, the left tackle, and I'd try and build up that offensive line and get some weapons around Justin Field. And if that doesn't work after 2 or 3 years, then maybe look in the draft again. But, whatever they do, I don't know if they can go wrong. I mean,
it's just, are you going to have an opportunity in 2 or 3 years to have Caleb Williams fall into your lap? I don't know, but I'm with you. Drafting Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu and having them play left tackle, and then grabbing a player like Rome Oduns or Malik Neighbors to pair with DJ Moore, I would think makes a ton of sense.
Coleman even,
because they have the 9th pick too. It's just, that's going to shape the entire draft, that decision.
For sure.
Jaden, you got one more question you want to ask?
Yeah. So you said that you think Justin Fields is gonna go, so they're probably gonna trade him. So I have a couple teams. What do you think that the best fit would be? I got the Falcons, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Saints, the Giants, the Steelers, the Commanders, and the Titans.
Do you want to repeat them?
Yeah, I'll say them again.
I'm just kidding.
Right,
I think the Falcons is where I would put them.
Okay, I agree.
From Georgia.
Yep.
Pairing him with the weapons they have there. Now, it would depend on who the coach is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you have to do is figure out the things that he does really well. And a lot of that is manufactured runs and even power runs with him. But the idea of him throwing passes to Kyle Pitts and Drake London and the running game with Bijan, I think that puts the Falcons in a position where they could run that division for a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a question of who the coach is, because Arthur Smith got fired today, and what the coordinator does with him. But, that particular fit, I think, is super, super interesting.
Yeah. Well, they got all the pieces too.
Yeah. And they have a good offensive line, and it helps.
Yeah. Lindstrom. But, yeah. Pro Bowl just came out yesterday. I know me and Jaden were definitely shocked when Amon-Ra didn't make the Pro Bowl. I know it's not all pro, a third of it's a fan vote, but still. What do you have, 1,500 yards?
Yeah, he
had like 120.
Receiver.
Was he 120 catches?
119.
Yeah, 120. He had 119.
1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, who made it ahead of him? It's a little popularity contest kind of thing. So,
Mike Evans, he had 79 receptions, 1,255 yards, and 13 touchdowns. So
I take him on over Puka Nacua, but that's neither here nor there. He's definitely the biggest snub. I agree, but you can't forget about Derek Brown, defensive tackle. I think he's just overshadowed because that's literally the worst team in the NFL by far. And I'm a 49er fan. I'd probably put him over Javon Hargrave though.
Yeah.
But you got to put Aaron Donald in there and Dexter Lawrence, maybe slip him in the end. He just broke the record for defensive tackles for a defensive tackle in a season with 101, which is actually incredible when you think about it.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a really good football player.
Yeah. Josh Allen didn't make it. And who else made it over? Patrick Mahomes, like you say, just popularity contest, probably the best quarterback in football, but this year I don't know if he's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. It's hard to trust the whole Pro Bowl thing. It's like, it's just
Yeah.
There's so much nonsense that goes on there. We all know that. I mean, Amon-Ra is one of the best receivers in football. He just is. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's year 3 with him. He's
Yep.
just been he's done nothing
And
but get better. And
he's the most consistent receiver in the NFL. Like he's 80 to 100 yards every game.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, he can stretch the field a little bit, but he's also that type of guy that can just go and, on 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 5, just run a hunt route and get 15 yards and keep the drive moving. That's what I love watching the Lions, or that's what I love about watching Lions.
And there's nothing passive about his play either. Like, he is totally cool, getting smashed over the middle of the field to make plays.
Yeah.
He's fine with it. It's
Yeah.
and
he catches everything too.
I kind of dismissed the whole Pro Bowl thing because there's so much, other stuff at play that,
Yeah. When does All Pro come out? Is that a regular season or is that the whole?
I don't know when it comes out.
I don't either.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we got for the Pro Bowl. I got a question for you. I know you're a pro with this football stuff. Is anything going to change with your job now that the draft is in Detroit? You got any cool opportunities with that, or same old, same old?
So I don't, to be honest, I don't think there's anything that's even been released yet as far as what's going to happen for the draft being in Detroit. There'll be a bunch of stuff, but I don't think anybody really knows. So yeah, I'll have, I hope to have, a few like really cool opportunities to do some things, but at this point in time, I wouldn't know what they are.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of stuff going on for the draft, but what that is, who knows?
Yeah.
You got
I'm excited
you got
for
a
the
question,
draft.
Jaden?
No, I'm excited for the draft. I got hopefully I can go down there and watch it. Very excited. Hopefully we're picking at 32.
That would be wild.
That would be amazing.
Yep.
A parade down there would be sweet. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the draft. Always have been. I do a lot of research also. Watch players and kind of do my first round mock drafts. And I mean, I do mock drafts all the time. So I mean, I already did like 5 today in class because that's all I do.
You shouldn't be telling people that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I don't. I don't. I do it at home. I do it at home. But yeah, it's definitely a fun thing, and I'm excited.
Yeah. 1 minute left. Closing thoughts. We're just really grateful to have you on the show, and of course, you're welcome on anytime. And for everyone listening, this guy right here is the reason that you're listening right now, and
for sure,
he's inspired us. And we hope to have you as a regular on the show. Every couple weeks. And
I'm happy to have inspired you guys to do anything positive. That's awesome. That makes me feel good. That's good. And yeah, I'd love to come back on. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, spreading your knowledge with us, we're beyond grateful, and we're just gonna keep learning and going. And thank you everyone for watching Detroit Lions podcast. We'll link in the description. But other than that, that's all we got to say. Thank you very much.
See you guys. Thanks.
See ya.